What is a charter school?
I think it's like a public school in the way it can get funding, but it's not tied to a district in the same way that that other schools are. Like people from all over can go to it, but I really don't know.
I think a charter school is probably a school that's chartered by the government to operate like within like the U.S. and like teach students like specific stuff.
I don't really know. I just know we have one like in my county.
As far as I know, I don't know much about charter schools, but as far as I can tell, it has to do with school choice and parents coming together and sort of finding a way to have a school that works the way they want it to, but still have federal money, as far as I know.
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure that you have to apply to it, and it is a public school, but a lot of times they have like a specific mission. So like you could be almost, I guess it's similar to a magnet school.
I'm not sure.
What is a charter school? I'm not going to try.
I think a charter school is like where you pay and you have like advanced classes, and it like, I think of like uniforms and that kind of thing. So like kind of like a high school, but like with a college mindset.
Charter school, I believe, is something where like it's kind of like a private school, but it's like not really like a private school. I'm actually not quite sure if you pay for it or not.
I think that it's something where either the government does give them money or doesn't give them money, so that they can do special things. But I'm not really sure.
I don't really know. It's a school.
What experience do you have with charter schools?
I think that there's one where I used to live.
My only experience with charter schools is actually with a family that I nannied for, and their oldest child was exceptionally gifted, really, really smart, and was finding that in a lot of traditional schools he was just really bored and didn't have anywhere to go. So he went to a charter school that I believe was focused heavily on math and science. And I know it was a really good experience for him.
I know a few kids who transferred from a charter school to our school, and they talked about it a lot and their experience with it, but I still don't really understand why it was that different.
My experience with charter schools is my mom used to work for one, but I honestly don't know much about like what she did or how it operated.
I don't think I have any friends. I feel like I have one friend that might have gone to charter school. I do have friends, but just not ones that went to charter schools.
My sister went to a charter school. I guess some good things that I saw was that the teacher or the parents tend to be very involved, because you have a lot of parents that are on the board, whatever that means, for the charter school. So they're very involved with how the school came to be, and they're very involved with like how, like the direction and the focus of the school. It seems a little frustrating to pull like the high achieving students out of the public schools. That was my experience, because I went to the high school while my sister went to the charter school, and it was like, why would you pull those children out of the public schools?
Proponents of charter schools point out that they offer a greater chance for innovative teaching techniques and offer families more flexibility in terms of academic environment. But those opposed to charter schools note that they are subjected to less accountability and tend to reflect a lack of racial and economic diversity. Which of these factors do you find the most compelling or important, and how does that influence your opinion on the benefits or detriments of charter schools?
For me personally, I think that having more races and more people from different backgrounds come together makes your school environment more advanced, because you get different people, obviously people from different backgrounds, so you get different opinions, different mindsets, you're exposed to different people.
I think that it's smart to be able to have teachers be able to really teach what they want, but there are some things that really do need to be taught, and one teacher might think one way.
I'm more inclined to give people discretion in what they want to do, because I think that people, individuals, know what's best for them more than anyone else, and I think that it would be a good idea to have charter schools if they have more flexibility.
In my mind, the logic for charter schools is why can't we just apply the positives to the current public school system
and recognize that the negatives would either disappear or would all be the same across the board if they were utilized more in the general school system.
So I do think that schools like need more diversity, and while people do learn differently, I think it's good to be exposed to all different kinds of learning and to different kinds of people, because when you're young, you need to be exposed to things. Charter schools don't sound that great, I guess.
I mean, they sound like good things because, like, on the one hand, if one kid wants to, like, I don't know, excel more, or like another kid's not so good at it, then you can like cater to each of their needs. I guess that's what it sounds like. But on the other hand, if they're less accountable, then that's bad too. So I don't know.
The first thing you notice when you look through the interviews that I did is that people really don't know much about charter schools. Even the people with aspects of accuracy in their definition were really hesitant, were really unsure about their explanations. Even people with experience with charter schools don't really know what they are. Even when you give people an explanation of like some of the good and bad things about charter schools, they don't really know what to do with that information. There's just a lot of uncertainty and ignorance around this subject. And I'm not surprised, because I really didn't know what a charter school was before I did this project. But I think it's kind of troubling in today's political atmosphere. Our current Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, is a huge proponent of charter schools and would love to see expansion of school choice. And really, if we consider maybe she'd be in office for the next 8 years, everyone that I interviewed potentially could be sending a kid to school in the next 8 years. So it really is important to know about charter schools and what they mean and whether they're good or bad for students. And that's another thing, looking through the research, is we don't really know if they're good or bad. There isn't a whole lot of research on the subject. There isn't a whole lot of conclusions that scholars have come to about whether they're good or bad. Personally, I believe that it's a distraction to be sending money to charter schools, that we should be focusing on fixing the problems in public schools. But at the same time, the people who get the worst end of the deal in public schools are poor Black kids who may be benefited by charter schools. So maybe we just need to suck it up and focus on charter schools and benefit the kids that really need it. There's just no real clear answer. No one has an answer. I don't have an answer. The experts don't really have an answer. That's really what I got from this project.